Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam.
Hajia, you're welcome to ENGAUSA.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here at last.
Yeah, and we want to know, how do you come to know about ENGAUSA?
Oh, ENGAUSA, I remember, well, I think it was almost about 3 years ago. I was supporting some work in Jigawa with NIDDA. And there was a talent hunt actually looking for the best talent in northern Nigeria who are into ICT, basically. And so Mustafa from ENGAUSA, I think you were the first to come up, I think, that day. And when you started to explain what your hub is doing, about how you... Oh, you are, sorry. I know it was like not, okay, almost last, fine.
Yeah.
When you started to explain that you are, giving that opportunity to young people who don't speak English, but yet have talent, have capabilities. You were giving them an opportunity to learn skills that you didn't need WIEC, you didn't need to have gone through secondary school, you could have dropped out at some point, but it shouldn't have been the end of the road for you. So ENGAUSA is this huge opportunity offering such a wide variety of skills, the software, the hardware, IT skills. They're offering so many options to every learner, so there's a nice variety, of good menu of skills a person can learn. If you do not have your secondary school qualifications, if you do not speak English, it's not the end of the road for you. There's so much you can learn and make a living from. So I thought this is the right concept for northern Nigeria, just the perfect recipe for young people to be able to pick themselves up, learn a skill, and thrive in today's world. The courses and the skill sets that ENGAUSA is offering are very real time, very relevant to today's industries. So I'm very confident that the students who come and learn at ENGAUSA are able to set themselves up in their own businesses, or actually get jobs, because they are coming out with relevant skills that are needed today. Videography, blogging, photography, the electrical fencing, the power banks, the solar torch lights. All these are things that we need every day now. So I'm really, really proud of the work Mustafa and the ENGAUSA Hub team are doing, and I am looking forward to looking at how we can actually reach more of our youth around Arewa, because really I think the ENGAUSA solution is the right solution, is really what is going to give that second chance to young people across the north. Language is not a barrier. School, having completed school, or having very, very high results are not going to be a barrier. They're not going to stop you from getting yourself a second chance. So I'm really impressed with the work that is being done here, and I look forward to more organizations keying into the ENGAUSA solution and concepts.
And Hajia, we are amazed with how motivated you are with this innovative idea of ENGAUSA, because you're a native speaker of English language, but most of the academicians are discouraging us, challenging us that this concept will discourage the youth from learning English language. What do you think about it?
Well, I've been a teacher I think since I left secondary school. That was the first job I was able to get as a teacher's assistant while I was waiting for admission in university, was helping around in school. So over the last 25 years, I have taught in one capacity or the other. And what I found is I've taught all kinds of students. I've taught students in some of the most expensive international schools. I've taught students in local government public schools. I've taught ALMAJIRIS. I've taught children from all kinds of backgrounds. And one common thing I found is everybody is teachable. It's just that you have to know the language to teach, and the language is not necessarily um, perfect English. It can be in many ways. I've taught special needs students as well, and for them, it's, there are other ways of teaching them: dyslexic students, blind students, students with narcolepsy, ADHD. There's just a whole variety of students, and the language of teaching is not necessarily English. The language of teaching, number one, is having the knowledge and skills and wanting to share those in a kind way. I think for me, that's the step one to teaching. And so anyone who says it has to be in English or it has to be in a certain language, no. It just, you need a teacher who is willing and committed, and kind enough to teach, and you just have to have students who are interested and hungry to learn, and that is the perfect recipe. Let me say, the perfect combination, and a lot of learning can happen. There's no such thing as a daft or dumb student. No, it's just that the teacher hasn't found the language to teach that student in, and the approach that ENGAUSA provides, which is very hands-on, very practical, less of the English, less of the speaking, but more of the, getting the equipment and actually seeing how things work. I think is one of the best ways to teach any kind of learner. So in GOSA, I'm just looking forward to seeing you continuing to teach more and more young people across the North.
And Haja, you as a veteran teacher, how do you think this ENGAUSA innovative idea can be adopted to schools, and how can it add value to the system of education already in existence?
Honestly, that's I've been thinking about how this concept can actually be adopted in schools. First of all, schools need to have their labs. So once I think a school has a lab, possibly the next step is to ensure that the teaching resources are within the school. So it's either within the teachers. You have to see who has that potential to learn the ENGAUSA curriculum, the variety of programs, and be able to deliver that. And so once the labs are set up and equipped in secondary schools, for example, and you have the teachers within the schools who have learned the ENGAUSA curriculum, then they can deliver it across the secondary schools. I think off the top of my head, that's the way I'm visualizing it. But of course, this is something that experts need to sit down and actually examine and come up with a roadmap. But definitely in GOSA, there is definitely something relevant to today's learners.
So, but what exactly a kind of gap do you think ENGAUSA can fill in the existing curriculum or in the existing system of education?
Well, I think that's why I said it's for the experts, the curriculum experts, to look at what is in the current curriculum, what the children are learning now, what students are learning in secondary schools. Look at what the ENGAUSA curriculum is offering, and see where ENGAUSA's curriculum can fill in the
Like
gaps.
for example, there are some schools who are claiming that they are adopting Montessori system of education, but most of the schools, when we visit them, you'll see they are lacking expertise, they are lacking equipment, tools. It's just theoretical, but still they are claiming it is a Montessori system of education. How can you convince them to adopt system like this?
Well, I don't know much about Montessori. I'm not an expert in Montessori, but Montessori, to my understanding, is a very practical way of learning, teaching and learning. So there is some similarity with actually the way ENGAUSA approach is, which is also a very hands-on, practical way of learning. Everything is just set up there, and students actually can see the development of whatever they're learning, rather as opposed to theoretical, which is currently what is being taught in secondary schools. A lot of it is just from the textbooks, from what the teacher instructs and explains, but then that hands-on to understand, to translate what is written in the books and actually see it happening. A lot of our secondary schools are not resourced for that. So I am looking forward to galvanizing interest from the, let me say, the authorities, from potential sponsors, to look at how we can institute and install labs that are equipped and resourced to be able to teach students beyond the theoretical, but into the practical.
Thank you for having a resourceful time with us.
Thank you.
And we are hoping to receive you in the next time, because all these your motivational speeches has boosted our morals, and we are looking for more.
I am really, really glad I came. I look forward to seeing our students. I'd love to visit the next graduation, and do let me know how I can always lend my support in any way. I'd be always happy to.
It's our greatest pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gabadai matasa maza da mata, ENGAUSA Global Tech Hub ta sake bujuro muku da ƙarin ilimi na fasahar zamani domin dogaro da kai a tsari mai taken ENGAUSA Digital Literacy Skill Up, inda za a koyar da ku ƙwarewa kan sana'o'i daban-daban na zamani da suka hada da video editing, blogging, graphic design, web design, social media literacy da digital marketing, duk cikin madarar Hausa, kuma ba sai da wata shaidar karatun boko ba. Gare ku mata musamman, wannan dama za ta fi karɓar ku, domin da kun kware za ku iya fara sana'a da kasuwanci mai riba daga gida hankali kwance. Domin yin rajistar shiga da daukar darasi sai a garzaya babban ofishin ENGAUSA Global Tech Hub da ke lamba 35 da 36 a harabar Technology Incubation Center, titin Guda Abdullahi Road, kusa da Arewa Radio, unguwar Farm Center, Kano, ko a nufi ofishin Chosen One Global Technologies Limited da ke gefen ginin Kedko a Rijiyar Zaki. Domin ƙarin bayani sai a kira 07038 2246 43 ko 07015130683. Sauran azuzuwan ENGAUSA da aka sani da kuma ƙarin wasu na zurfafa karatu suna nan ana gudanarwa.